Thank you very much
Good
for your
morning,
time.
Sena. Good morning to Nancy, Patrick, Eric, and the rest of your team.
It's nice to speak to you this morning, and of course, you are launching your book on Galamsey. That is 8th, right? 8th July.
8th July, yes.
On 8th
I
July.
hope to see you there.
Okay. You are launching it within the capital?
Yes. Third World Network Africa is organizing it at, I think, the Press Center in Accra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So on the 8th.
Yeah. So I will land on the note of Galamsey because of the extensive work you've done in coming up with this book. And so I'll land on that note. But first let's start with the CJ's presser. You have always insisted that you are not a lawyer. But I'm wondering what your thoughts are. Many of the things, in fact, the late Dr. D. Percy always used to say, everything is a tool of politics. The law is a tool of politics. And so listening to her, the press conference, knowing that she was not even supposed to do that in the first place, what were your impressions just listening to her and the fact that she held it in the first place?
Yes, that was, I was surprised to see her do that. But again, considering what she has been doing as the Chief Justice of the country and the suspicion that many people had about her political leanings and the way in which the judiciary under her, leadership was almost now involved in political issues. And many decisions taken by the judiciary under her leadership clearly indicated that this was more about politics than judicial review. Remember, I used to say there's political literature on this, where the judiciary uses its independence, judicial review to do politics, kind of descend into the domain of politics and governance, and for that matter, erasing the political question and separation of powers, and leading to what they describe as juristocracy. You know, we talked about this some time ago. And that was just doing analysis of what the decisions she took and the law she used to back those decisions, those political decisions. For that matter, you could just say, based on the theories, this is what is happening. The country was under the governance of a Supreme Court judge and not by the executive and the parliament elected by the people. So those were just analysis. But with that background, and then considering the fact that he's still the Chief Justice of the country, and then he comes out clearly into the political domain and makes some explosive allegations against the executive, saying that what is happening is a political trial and not the law. She being the Supreme Court justice, the Chief Justice, just shows that all along what we've been talking about, judicialization of politics and juristocracy, we are now seeing the evidence. She's purely a politician, not an independent judge. This is the way I see this press conference.
A politician?
Yes.
Not an independent judge?
Yes. I mean, just imagine some of the things she was saying. She's even trying to link the location of the trial to that unfortunate, incident of the murder of the judges and an army officer in the 1980s. It's a link, a kind of linkage that didn't exist. I mean, she was just trying to play politics with this. Can you imagine invoking such a tragedy that occurred several years ago, and then bringing it to this, this constitutional, process that is ongoing under Article 146 of the Constitution? And this is, here you are with the Chief Justice playing politics and invoking national tragedies to do that kind of politics. It's so unfortunate.
I see. Because you're talking about no less a person than the Chief Justice. She. In fact, I was pointing out earlier on that she actually administered the oath of the President, the Speaker, the Vice President, and she's also been a judge through our court system for about 2 decades, for more than 2 decades now. You are saying that what you heard at the press conference was politics?
Yes.
Pure politics.
And then pugning the integrity of her colleagues in that committee. Who does that? I mean, these are your colleagues. You have been working with them. And then you make these serious allegations against them when the case is still, this is an inquiry. Nothing shows that you are guilty. You never know what can happen. And then you come to the public using the media to make these serious allegations against your colleagues. And this is the Chief Justice of the country. I mean, if I do that, or if you do that whilst the case is ongoing, in which you are the one, the subject of the inquiry, what will happen to you? I mean, most likely you'll be hauled before the committee or high court for contempt. And she, being the Chief Justice and with that vast experience and knowledge of the law, she was ready to, throw caution to the wind, to the dustbin, and then to hold this press conference and make these explosive allegations against the executive and against her own colleagues of the Supreme Court. And then you are wondering what is left. I mean, what else can she do for somebody to have confidence in her that she's a judge and not a politician? Because she has blown it. Through this press conference, she has blown that cover. If she had any cover at all, it has been blown.
See. There are those who suggest that just this press conference alone, but before I come there, what do you think she was trying to achieve with this kind of press conference?
I think, again, talking from the perspective of politics, I will maintain that she's just, doing politics. I mean, you saw that the minority party supporters, those in parliament, have engaged in all kinds of, political rhetoric around this a constitutional process, which is legitimate. All the lawyers who have spoken on this issue I have one conclusion. The president is not doing anything illegal, ultra vires. And yet you had all these, the MPP politicians, some of them prominent lawyers, trying to find faults with this constitutional process. And these are supposed to be people who believe in constitutionalism. Now saying that something that the president, a constitutional act that the president is taking shouldn't happen. The president shouldn't do that. And now she then joins them as the president, the current Supreme Court, Chief Justice. He's just suspended, but he's still the Chief Justice of the country. And then she joins them in this politics. What else can you say than to say that probably she thinks that the only option left to her is to become a politician, and probably whatever happens in this case for her, she's going to do politics. I mean, this is what I see, because it was a political press conference, nothing to do with the judiciary. And for that matter, I just see it as trying to get sympathy from the minority party and the NPP in general, and probably positioning herself as a prominent member of that party. This is the only thing I can say. What else can I explain an experienced judge throwing caution to the dustbin and then undertaking a political press conference? I think she's just now in the realm of politics. Perhaps she doesn't want to be on the bench again.
I see. Positioning herself as a prominent member of the... Are you talking about the New Patriotic Party?
Yes. Because there's no difference between what she's saying and what Afanya Markins, the opposition leader or the minority leader, says. I mean, the press conferences that the minority has held, do you see any difference between her press conference and their press conferences? They are quite similar. And this is being done by Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of the country. So what else can you say? I mean, that is what is evident. That is what is clear to anybody doing some comparison between what she's doing and what the minority, the NPP, is doing. And when you look at the likes of Afanya Markins and the other leaders of that party, they are just playing politics, and they probably have their political interest and the political interest of the NPP. That's why they are doing that. So if she joins them and in the same manner, I mean, almost like a textbook political press conference, what can you say than to come to that conclusion?
The suggestion by some is that her conduct, especially this particular press conference, makes her return as Chief Justice or continuing to stay in that position as Chief Justice untenable. Do you agree?
Of course, that's the point I'm making. I think she's no more interested in that job. I mean, who in her normal senses, who is still thinking to be on the bench, will hold a press conference like this. The point is, nothing has been decided. This is a constitutional process. It's an inquiry. We don't know what the verdict they will come out with and the decision the president will take. And then she is already going ahead of herself to, play politics with this. So I can't foresee her thinking of occupying this position again.
Well, before I let you go, just two stories to draw attention to, because I realized one of the things your book focuses largely on issues of how politics has played a role in undermining the fight against illegal mining, and you term it state capture.
Yes.
Now, two stories that I wanted to draw attention to. The first one is this one that is from by Ghana, where Forestry Commission team attacked by armed thugs in Jamra Forest. And it says of efforts by officials of the Forestry Commission to clamp down on illegal mining in the Jamra Forest Reserve have been met with violent resistance as armed thugs attacked a task force team attempting to access the reserve. According to information gathered by journalist Erastus Asaridonko, the commission had received intel on Saturday, June 28, 2025, that illegal miners had once again invaded compartment 34 of the Jimra Forest Reserve, specifically in the Bentiko Pachi section. A member of the task force recounted that this was not the first time their operations had been obstructed by armed resistance. Quote, apparently, we made attempts on 2 occasions to clamp down on illegal miners at the said portion of the reserve, but were prevented by armed thugs. The most recent attack occurred on May 27, 2025, when a team accompanied by 7 police officers from Nkawi Divisional Police Command attempted to enter the area. That's one. The second one is this story that is being carried by, I think, 2 newspapers, Daily Guide and SM is the publisher, right? Okay, these are 2 MPP newspapers who are saying that small-scale miners in Ghana have made a passionate and urgent call on President Mahama to institute a probe into the operations of an illegal anti-Galamsey task force. The task force, formed by some self-centered individuals claiming to be powerful, has been undermining the government's efforts to tackle illegal mining and threatening the activities of licensed small-scale miners. A recent report from the Western region indicated that the illegal task force clashed with the government's National Anti-Galamsey Task Force, a situation that nearly caused a major disturbance. However, through the intervention of the sector minister, Emmanuel Kofi-Boa, the National Anti-Galamsey Task Force was called back. Sources said the illegal task force later blocked the National Task Force's route to Accra, asking them to surrender. And it took several hours before tensions died out. Now, are those the symptoms you saw under the former administration that led to you concluding that there was some form of capture of the state?
No, this one illustrates the depth of chaos and the lack of control or governance in the small-scale mining sector. Clearly, I mean, this shows that no one is in charge. I mean, you have the government task force, and then this other task force that we don't know where it's coming from, whether it is they formed by criminals or it's formed by just the illegal miners who are engaged in this destruction of the environment. We don't know. So this shows the level of chaos in the small scale mining sector. If we had a situation where the government comes in, or the minister comes in, or the president comes in and says, "Oh, I leave them to do whatever they want," as we used to see in the previous government. You remember, in the previous government, you could see in a situation like this, you see a very high top government official making statements that seem to justify the chaos in the sector, like saying that now if you see a soldier coming, fight with the soldier, because they are not given the authority to come and check your activities. So if you have such statements from the government, then you can see that clearly there's an instance of some elites capturing the state and using it for their illegal activities. But in this case, you see that the the Minister of Lands, Natural Resources is coming in, and then you have not heard from any government official justifying the illegal task force. And for that matter, I will not. This one is not one of those classic incidents of state capture. It just illustrates that we have a serious problem on our hands, almost indicating that in this sector of the economy, the state is almost missing in action. And why that is happening is something we must investigate. So for now, we can just say the government is trying to deal with a problem that has festered for a long time, and it doesn't just take 6 months to do it. So I will not, this is not one of those pieces of evidence that I can say is illustrates state capture.
What does the government need to do for you to take control? Because you're talking about the death of chaos. And because there are those who have the opinion that this government should have won the fight by now. But if you're talking about the death of chaos, it means that it will take some time for that. But what do they need to take control of the situation and perhaps dictate what happens in that sector?
And on this one, I will be very, I won't mince words in saying that the president has to show that, he's different from the previous, his predecessor. I mean, you have to show that you are in charge of some of the most powerful security agencies in the country. In fact, you are in charge of all the cohesive apparatuses of the state: the police, the army, the fire service, the secret services. You have all these resources at your disposal. You have to use them and make sure that you stamp out this serious threat to our national security as a country. Failure to do that will just, you just blow your goodwill by the goodwill you have with the people of Ghana, and because one of the reasons why he was voted to power is to come and fight this menace, this threat to national security. Because say now we are facing, this is almost like terrorism. And if a country doesn't, a state cannot fight internal terrorists, then that means it doesn't exist. That means we don't have a state. So I would say they have to deploy. Even the calls for state of emergency are legitimate. And if I think the president should consider that.
Prof, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Senator.
Always a pleasure talking to Professor JASPER ABEMBIA AYELAZUNOR. Like I told you, he's Associate Professor, Department of Politics and Governance at the University of Development Studies. Like I told you, he'll be launching his book on 8th July. And the book is on Galamsey and the concepts of state capture as was exhibited under the past administration. So there are many lessons to learn from this kind of book and how it details exactly how perhaps Galamsey became quite a big problem that seems unsolvable under Nana Akufo-Addo, and the lessons that this administration needs to learn. SM.